because it is against the law. When something is against the law, that is probable cause. Now, I am pro ICE because both of my parents are immigrants and they came here legally. It took them 20 years to get here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I do find it sad that families are getting torn apart. That
That's
is sad. Of course.
not wait. You need probable cause, right? You're saying okay, if
Probable
somebody if you
cause,
know somebody
the
here is
probable cause
it's
is that
probable
they
wait,
are
it's probable
illegal.
cause that they are illegal, but you need to build up to the probable cause, right? But they're only using reasonable suspicion, right? ICE has literally said this. Greg Bavino said this. They're only using reasonable suspicion to make these arrests when you need probable cause.
They have files of everyone who is here illegally. They aren't going around arresting American citizens.
If you already had files of people who are here illegally, then you would already have the probable cause to go and arrest that person.
And that's what they do.
But they aren't because Greg Bavino literally said in a statement that they were using reasonable suspicion, not probable cause, to make arrests, and you need probable cause to do that. And we have court cases out there. I think it's Molina versus Christy Noem, where the judges are already leaning in favor of the plaintiffs that ICE is making these arrests only on the basis of reasonable suspicion. And that was a class action lawsuit, and now the government has been enjoined from actually making these arrests.
Okay, so could you tell me one American citizen that has been deported? Could you tell me that? Because obviously they are only deporting the illegals, which is
I'm
illegal,
not talking
which is
about
going
deport.
against
Do you
the
think I'm talking
law.
about deportations?
Yes, that's
No,
what
I'm
you were
not
just
talking about
saying.
deportations.
So what are you talking about?
I'm talking about warrantless arrests.
Now, warrantless arrests, they have you're saying probable cause.
To make a warrantless arrest,
The
you need
cause
probable
is that they
cause.
are illegal. I don't understand
You need
how
you
you're
need probable
trying to
cause that they're
defend this.
illegal. Okay, so
And they are.
not always. So
So who isn't?
okay, can
This
I
is what I'm
finish? So
asking.
when
Who is
there's
an American
Molina,
citizen that they have taken?
Molina, that's literally one of the court cases. That's the name of the class action lawsuit I cited. So you understand that if an ICE officer has reasonable suspicion that somebody's illegal in the country, that they cannot make an arrest of that person, right? Do you agree with that
Okay.
statement? Okay. So ICE is making arrests of people with only reasonable suspicion when you need probable cause to do that. And that's a violation of the Fourth Amendment because you have a protection against unreasonable search and seizure of your person's property, etc.
So the probable cause, what I'm saying, is that they are illegal. So how are you going to debate that they don't have probable cause when they clearly do?
Oh my gosh. You're putting the cart before the horse. You're like, these people have probable cause that they're illegal when ICE is saying we don't have probable cause, we have reasonable suspicion.
And
You can't
clearly
make
they're all
arrests.
right.
Huh?
It's not arrest if it's
Clearly they're not right
federal
because
law.
we have a court in Molina versus Christy Noem where they're literally enjoining the government from making these arrests on only reasonable suspicion because that's against the Fourth Amendment.
The Fourth Amendment that applies to American citizens.
American citizens, legal and illegal immigrants.
Illegal immigrants who are here
Are
going against the law.
Let me. This is the problem with your thinking, right? Let's pretend there's an American citizen, and for some reason ICE suspects that this person is an illegal immigrant. Now, under your thinking, ICE suspecting that they're an illegal immigrant, let's pretend they only have reasonable suspicion that they are. I mean, oh well, they're illegal, so therefore they don't have rights. But this person is an American citizen, so you can't even determine.
They don't have rights.
Wait. You can't determine that quite yet. This is why for everybody they have standards for when you can make the arrest. You need probable cause because it could end up with a case where this American citizen that you suspect has you suspect is an illegal, and by your logic you'd be like, oh well, they don't even have to build probable causes because they already think they're illegal, but they're actually U.S. citizen. You don't know, you can't determine that until you've met the legal standard. That's why this applies to everybody, but it doesn't matter since they were doing this U.S. citizens and legal immigrants anyways.
Okay, so can you explain this arrest of a U.S. citizen?
Yes. Like what exactly happened, or like how they're doing it?
Who was arrested? How were they arrested? And were they let go?
They were let go, and they were arrested in
Exactly, because
Minneapolis.
ICE does not take away legal citizens. They take away illegal citizens because that is the law, and no one can come here
Do you
legally.
wait? Do you not really recognize it doesn't matter if they let them go? It's still a violation of the Fourth Amendment. Like you're under your like ICE could go around just arresting anybody because they're brown, and then as long as they let them go, you'd be like that's fine. But the
But they
fact
don't
is
do
that,
that.
huh?
That's the problem.
I'm using
is
your
they
lot.
don't do that.
I'm using your logic right now because you're saying, oh, it's fine because they released them. No, it's not fine. If you do a violation of law while making an arrest of somebody, that's not fine. That needs to be gone after, and that needs to be criticized
Yeah, it is being criticized by you.
by me and other people. Yeah, so that's why I don't like ICE because they're violating the Fourth Amendment when they're doing arrests.
Okay, so that's the only reason you don't like ICE is because they're violating the Fourth Amendment?
There's other ways they're violating the Fourth Amendment why I don't like them. They're doing
Other than violating the Fourth Amendment, that's the only
they're doing
reason you
Fifth
don't like
Amendment
them?
they're doing Fifth Amendment violations. That's another reason I don't like them.
What is the Fifth Amendment?
The Fifth Amendment is due process, so that's protection for due process
So, due process of illegal immigrants.
of everybody.
So, ICE is violating due process of legal and illegal immigrants
Yes.
and American citizens.
I don't know if there's American citizens in the habeas petitions.
So, obviously, they're not going to give illegal citizens due process. They have to send them back to their country.
Legal citizens have due process.
Yeah,
So-
legal citizens.
Legal immigrants and illegal immigrants have due process.
Illegal immigrants are going to have to be sent back to their country. You think they're
Yeah, but you understand this.
going-
What do you
think
what do you
they're-
think due process is?
you think they're going to court?
What is due process?
It's the right to an attorney, the right to a jury.
No.
They're
Due
getting
process is the process that you're due under the law. So under the INA, right, and under case law, it has been, this is the Fourth Amendment violation, is established basically that if an illegal is detained and that illegal files a habeas petition, which is going to be based, the habeas petition is contending their detention, that the administration, right, as per the judge's orders, either needs to respond to that habeas petition and say why this person needs to be kept in detention, or they need to be released within 7 days of the habeas petition by the immigrant, legal or illegal, being filed. But the government isn't doing either of those. They're not responding to it, nor are they letting that person go. And that person has a right to be let go after the 7 days after filing the habeas petition, because that's their due process under the law. Unmute her? I didn't mute her. She muted herself.
Hello? Oh, sorry. Like I said, the Fifth Amendment is the right to a grand jury, and it's the right to a fair case. So I don't know what you're trying to say.
What do you think due
but
process is?
I just explained it.
Due process is the process that you are due under the law, right? So the Fifth Amendment establishes due process by the federal government, and the 14th Amendment
By a
establishes
grand jury and a fair trial.
sorry, can I finish?
Yes.
And the Fourth Amendment, 14th Amendment establishes due process via the states. So it's a Fifth Amendment violation when you don't give somebody the due process that they are owed under the law. And the specific law that we're referencing in this case is the INA, Immigration and Nationality Act.
So I'm confused what your point is.
That
That they're
because
not giving
because
illegal
because because
immigrants
because
due
legal and
process.
illegal immigrants, or quite frankly, anybody in detention can file a habeas petition, and if the government isn't following the judge's orders on what to do with the habeas petition, which is responding to it or letting the person go, that person then has a right under their due process to be let out of detention.
Why would they be let out of a detention center if they're illegal?
Because I'm pretty sure it's like 1226 under the INA, unless like somebody, you're supposed to let people go if they're not going to be like deported within like within a certain amount of time, or they're showing that they have like some sort of protection for like an illegal immigrant, that either like the accusations the government made isn't correct, or it could be the fact that their habeas petition say, you guys can't detain me to be removed because I'm a U.S. citizen. So there could be a number of reasons you're making a habeas petition for why you couldn't be detained.
At the same time, these illegals, how do you think they're going to? Do you think that the getting deported is going to be easy on them? Because it's not. When you commit a crime, you face the consequence.
Okay, and
So why wouldn't they be kept in a detention center? Do you think they're going to be kept in their houses? Like, I'm confused.
yeah, there's a reason that we have the department,
so
the
they'd be
the
kept in their
It's the reason that
houses
the reason that ISIS has a non-detained list for people. Yeah. I think Alberto Garcia is a great example of somebody for removal order who wasn't detained.
Hello?
There's also hello, yeah. Sorry, I muted myself by accident. Yeah, Alberto Garcia is a good example of somebody with like a. Oh, and they left. Okay, who else do we have? Lobo, what's up? And you left. I'm pretty sure I accepted your invitation. What's good, y'all? Let me check on the YouTube stream. How we're doing there? Looking good. Okay, guys. Let's like the on YouTube side. Let's get more people in here. Lobo, what's up? Hello? 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna kick you down soon, dude. I'll bring up Raw Onion. What's up?
Yeah. Can you tell me one person? Can you tell me one American citizen that has been detained and deported, and tell me where, and tell me their names?
I was never making a claim about that, so no, not right.
Okay,
now.
so ICE sucks. So let me tell you something, sir. Since I know you're just a little twerp in this world, you haven't been around long enough to even fucking
Nice
talk.
ageism, bro.
Let me tell you something. You're mad because you say that ICE sucks.
Mhm.
Do you know that ICE? Okay. First of all, I'll tell you where I live. 37-year-old male from Texas. Do you know that ICE and the Border Patrol have been doing their job for almost over 100 fucking years? Do you know that this happens every single day in Texas? Do you know that Border Patrol apprehends over 40 to 50, I don't know, 60 people a day just alone in all the counties in Texas? Do you know that? Do you know that this is not the first time? Do you know that it happens as we speak, as we're talking right now? I get that you're talking about ICE boots on the ground, but let's talk about how this has been going on forever. You're only saying it sucks because they're in a city that people are protesting it, but you're dancing around the fact that immigration policy has been in effect for many years. I mean, we've been rounding up illegal immigrants.
I just interrupt you. Sorry, I'm just sorry. What do you think I'm not gonna let you rant forever. What do you think my issue with ICE is? Like, what are my issues?
I don't know. It says
Wait,
ICE
then why you
sucks.
wait? Why? Okay.
So it
Why
says
you sit? No,
ICE
onion,
sucks.
onion.
That goes to tell me that you just
Raw
hate
onion.
ICE
Why are you
all
saying?
the way around.
Why are you saying that my issues with ICE are only that people are protesting them in Minnesota when you just acknowledged that you don't know what my reasons for saying ICE sucks are?
Okay, well, I didn't get to ask you, but when you say ICE sucks,
Well, you made a statement first, so you said you literally implied you already knew my reasons. 'Cause
Okay.
You said this is the only reason you think they're bad,
Well,
and you're like,
because
oh,
I
I
was
didn't get around to
listening-
asking.
I was listening to the last guy.
Well, if
that
you're
was
listening to the last guy or the last woman I was arguing with,
or
right?
woman.
Woman I was arguing with, then when I asked you the question 5 seconds ago, what are the reasons I think ICE sucks, you would have been able to answer it, but you weren't listening. So I can repeat the reasons if you'd like me to.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the reason that I think ICE currently sucks.
Give me one reason and we can talk about it. I don't need
Okay, I think ICE is violating the Fourth Amendment. I think they're doing this by making warrantless arrests of people, right? Because ICE is allowed to do that only on the basis of reasonable suspicion. When to make a warrantless arrest of somebody, you need probable cause to do so. I think the evidence for this is one, a court case called Molina v. DHS, and two, the fact that the DHS and people like Greg Bavino have said in their own statements that they're making these arrests using reasonable suspicion when we know legally we need probable cause to do so.
No, you don't. You don't need probable cause.
Yes.
You don't know. Congress passed that all you need is reasonable suspicion. We don't have to have probable cause, sir. You don't have to have probable cause.
Yeah,
No,
so
sir.
even in
No, sir. You don't. Listen. What you're doing is you're advocating for slave labor. You want immigrants in this country,
holy pivot.
but yet you want the white man to pay them weak wage. Is that what you want?
So white man to what? So I just want to address the first one.
ICE
That was a giant.
and
That was a giant.
and
That was a
Border Patrol
giant.
have been
That was a
rounding up
giant.
people for the
That was a
past
giant.
60 years.
Stop repeating yourself. That was a
And
giant
if you're
pivot.
just
That was a giant
talking
pivot.
about
Let me
the
finish.
past 2 months,
Let me finish.
because they
So
suck.
in Nome v.
Guess what?
Vasquez
Stay your fucking ass home.
Prud'homme, right?
It's
so this
not
is a recent.
hard.
This is a recent.
Stay home.
Okay, why did I get muted? Okay, so in this court case, Nome v. Right, Vasquez Prud'homme, right? This is a recent court case, 2025 of September. The Supreme Court literally says this, and I'm just going to read this. Importantly, reasonable suspicion means only that immigration officers may briefly stop an individual and inquire about their immigration status, right? So even the Supreme Court says, and there's nowhere in the INA where it says this. I don't know why you're lying about that, right? The Supreme Court quite literally says in a recent 2025 Supreme Court case that reasonable suspicion can only be used to make brief stops to inquire about somebody's immigration status. You cannot use it to make arrests. To make arrests, you need probable cause.
Probable cause in an arrest itself. When you know,
What?
it's pretty funny. It's funny how you people just advocate for illegal immigrants, and you.
I'm not
but
advocating for
yet-
illegal immigrants. I'm advocating for upholding the Constitution and people's Fourth Amendment rights. And that means that if you're going to be arrested, the police and law enforcement need probable cause to do so. I know you don't believe in that, but I do.
probable cause. No, they don't. No.
I just read off the Supreme Court case to you. They can't use reasonable suspicion to make arrests. They can only use it to use brief stops. You need probable cause.
Well, too bad, because that's not how it's working, sir.
I
And
agree.
if-
That is really bad. That's why ICE sucks, because they're violating the
No.
Fourth Amendment. And I
No.
care. Wait, I care about the laws of this country. I care about enforcing them. I care about
No,
the
you don't.
Constitution.
No, you
Really? Then
don't.
wait. But then
No,
why am
you
I
don't.
advocate? Why am I advocating for the Fourth Amendment right now?
No, you don't. You don't
I'm-
care about. You don't care about
Really?
law and order in this country. You
What's the
care
source of
about.
that?
You don't care about law and order in this country. That you know what? If you hate this country so bad, why don't you go live
I
somewhere
don't hate this
else?
country.
Why
I hate
don't
the
you go live
president, and I hate
somewhere else?
how the president is using our institutions to violate the Constitution. So
You know what? Suck it up.
you know who actually?
Suck
Raw
it up.
Onion. It's funny. Wait, it's funny calling from people.
Suck it up.
It's funny from people who say I hate the country, who are literally going against our founding documents and the founding principles of this country. You hate America. You hate the Constitution. You hate this country. I want to uphold what makes this country so great.
You're
You want to tear it
scared of
down.
change. You're scared of change. That's the liberal way. That's the
What?
Democrat way. You shake in
Wait,
your
are you
boots.
conservative?
You disagree with
Or Onion, are you
everything.
conservative?
You gotta disagree with.
Are you conservative?
everything.
Are you conservative?
Stay your ass home.
Are you conservative?
No one's an illegal immigrant.
Okay. We gotta crash out. Na, 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 na.
What's up, brother?
What's up?
How are you, man?
Are you friendly?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I might keep you up here for a second. NY
I'm
Force, what's
conservative,
up?
but I'm polite.
Yeah, no problem. NY Force, what's up, man? NY Force, what do you disagree with? Hello?
Well, I don't agree. I don't disagree.
I disagree.
What do you mean? What
Yeah,
do
what
I
do you
disagree with? I disagree that ICE is
Yeah, what do you
basically
disagree?
kidnapping people.
Okay. I'm asking Apollo. Apollo, why do you disagree?
No,
They're enforcing the law.
but they're not.
Enforcing the law. I said they're not. Have you?
They
I'm
are.
sure you've been listening. Is there anything you disagree with in particular?
I'm sorry?
Is there anything you disagree with in particular? Because I'm sure you've been listening.
I've been listening for about like a minute and a half, 2 minutes maybe.
Okay. So
But yeah,
yeah. So my basic argument is that I think ICE is violating the Fourth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment being your protection against unjustified search and seizure of your person's property, etc. I think ICE is doing this by making warrantless arrests, which they're allowed to do of people, only using reasonable suspicion. When to make an arrest of somebody, you need probable cause. The evidence for this would be Molina versus U.S. Department of United States, sorry. No, DHS. I keep mixing up. And the fact that people like Greg Bavino, who are in charge of like ICE and CBP operations in Chicago, LA, Minnesota, literally stated they were only using reasonable suspicion to make these arrests. And the DHS has said in different press releases that they're using reasonable suspicion to make arrests. So yeah. Anything to disagree?
okay, so okay. Another, I don't know how deep you want to get into this, if you want to actually hear what I have to say.
Mhm.
But honest to God, this is my opinion. This is in good faith, I promise you. We had Biden as president. Border was a disaster. It's the only thing the left and right agreed on the entire administration of Biden. We had a southern border crisis, people just pouring over.
Mhm.
So we had Trump come in basically with a boat with 100 holes in it. And ICE has been basically like taken off the leash and allowed to go out and arrest people that are here illegally. And that's what they've been doing. And you don't like it, even though that's what every other world leader in the world does. Most other presidents besides Biden do the same thing. But you have a problem with Trump. And I think it's just Trump.
Well, so
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. This is my life, and I'm like recording stuff for debates, so it's nothing against you, dude. Fuck, I forgot to start recording. It's my mistake. So, I just want to ask, like, why do you care about like illegal immigrants being in the country? Like, why is that something you're?
Why do you
against?
care about them being deported?
I'm asking you
Because
the
they're-
question. Can you? No. Answer my question. That was not an answer.
That would be
Why
like
do you?
asking me? That'd be like asking me, why do you care about people driving drunk?
Why do you
It's
care?
illegal.
So okay, so you think
Illegal.
right?
It's a
You
law.
don't like illegals being in the country.
Everybody cares.
You don't
care
like
about
it.
laws as
You
well.
don't. Okay, I
If
care.
came
Yes,
in
I
your
care about
house and
laws.
wouldn't
So
leave,
when
we'd
ICE,
call the police.
I agree. So you care about illegals being in the country because they're illegal and you want to enforce the law. Okay, cool. And you want ICE to go and deport these people and enforce it. So when ICE violates the law, the Constitution, the supreme law of the land, right, by breaking the Fourth Amendment when trying to enforce it, I'm against that too. Which is why I think ICE sucks currently because they're breaking the
against
law. They're
both?
breaking the
Are you
Fourth
against
Amendment.
illegal immigration?
I'm against illegal immigration. So they're breaking the Fourth Amendment when they're enforcing the law, which is why ICE sucks currently.
But you already said they're allowed to do that.
No, they're not.
no, they're not.
You
They're
already
not,
said that.
they're not allowed to break the Fourth Amendment.
So no warrant if they go in and take somebody who's an illegal immigrant. You're against that, right?
No, I'm against when they go in and they do a warrantless arrest without probable cause.
Or-
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. But the probable cause would be you're here illegally.
Yeah, but they're doing it without probable cause. So
But
that's
if you're here illegally, then that's probable cause. You're like kind of talking.
you need to build to. What do you think the probable cause is? It's probable cause that you're here illegally.
You're
So
illegally
even if there's
breaking
for
the-
instance if there's
breaking
a
the law.
if there's a illegal immigrant walking down the street and I'm an ICE officer and I don't know that they're an illegal immigrant and I just go and arrest them, that's a illegal arrest because I needed probable cause to arrest them. even if they're actually an illegal immigrant. I found out after the fact. You need probable cause in the moment that they're illegal to make that arrest. Is that understood?
Okay, so you're upset with the initial arrest is what you're upset with.
Yes.
Okay. I think they've been heavy-handed. I agree.
Heavy-handed. Heavy-handed as in breaking the Constitution and openly talking about doing that, as Greg Bavino and DHS have declared. It's not heavy-handedness. It's just being against our laws. You can't claim to like ICE and what they're doing as they're breaking the law.
Well, here's like I've been paying attention. You disliked ICE and what they were doing before there were any deaths, right? Before Renee, before Pretty. They went into LA and people were throwing bricks off of overpasses at these vehicles. And did you support that? Because that's basically attempted unaliving stuff.
No, I don't think it's a good thing. No.
All right.
They shouldn't do
so I think we probably agree on a lot of things. Maybe, yeah.
We should also agree that ICE sucks.
Can I ask?
No, they don't suck. They're very necessary.
Just ICE says Trump is using them currently suck. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, go ahead.
Can I go now?
Yeah, go ahead, dude.
Yeah, jump in, bro.
So you are aware that the second a person steps foot in this country that they're afforded the same rights as a U.S. citizen, yes?
Oh, is that what you think?
That's what I know.
All right.
The 14th and 21st Amendments. So the idea that, I didn't worry about the amount of deportations under Obama because I knew that him being a person who actually taught constitutional law at some point in his career knows the Constitution. Mm-hmm. And I know that those people who were arrested and who were deported were done under due process, which is what they're afforded under the Constitution. When you snatch grab people now, and there's no habeas corpus, there's no due process, there's no Mirandizing, there's no providing adequate legal counsel, there's no day in court, and you literally just throw them on planes and deport them. Mm-hmm. That's kidnapping.
Oh, okay, that's a word for it.
That's human trafficking. If we really want to get technical.
All right, there's a few other words for it. I disagree. I think it's enforcing the law and deporting somebody. I think it's deporting, which every other country does. By the way,
but every other country doesn't have
every other country does it.
But every other country doesn't have the
do you think deportations?
Yeah, I can understand. It's a nagging little document, but you know what? It's what we live by.
True.
But here's my question then. You said that in LA
Is that a nagging argument?
They were throwing
Do you think
bricks
deportation
correct?
I'm sorry. Do you think deportations can't be illegal? Are you under the assumption?
I think they can be done incorrectly, and then there's a lawsuit that occurs. I know
okay, so you understand that not every deportation is enforcing the law. Deportations can be a violation of it, in fact.
I understand they have made
Okay,
mistakes.
so I don't know why you would say when he literally is bringing up this is like a violation of the law to deport somebody. That's a enforcement of the law. It's not.
You're allowed to enforce the law, and if you're here illegally, you get deported. What's the surprise? How is that surprising to you?
Okay, you wait.
Realistic.
I like this is insane. You understand? Okay, if you're an illegal immigrant, once again, walking down the street, ICE just randomly, an ICE officer just sees you, no probable cause, picks you off the street, throws you in the back of a truck, drives in Mexico and dumps you off. That's illegal.
What would you like?
That's an illegal deportation. That's not enforcing law.
Okay, let's say, hold on. You get caught here illegally. What would you like to happen?
So what should happen is that they should be Mirandized. They should be given their day in court, provided adequate representation in a court of law. They should also have habeas corpus. Yeah. And I hate to tell you, if Trump didn't come out and go and tell everybody vote against the Langford bill, you would have had something like 3,000 or 4,000 new attorneys for border, and this process would have been flying through the air. But he came out and said, "Don't do it because I got nothing to win on." But here's something else for you. Hang on. You said something before. You said that they were throwing bricks at ICE agents in LA.
I would like to stay on this real quick before we move on to that, if you don't mind.
No, are you against that?
Just to stay on topic.
Are you against that?
Of course.
Okay, so then you're against the January 6th rioters being pardoned, yeah?
In some ways, yeah.
How in some ways? It's the same thing.
I mean, there were people there that were violent.
Law enforcement.
There were people that never stepped foot inside the place.
But those people weren't arrested. It's only the people that broke into the government building.
They were.
They were
But
just
you
for
don't.
like
But you
text
don't think. But you
messages.
don't think it was.
I think
You
that's
don't
a
think it was
mess.
an
I think you
insurrection.
probably would you agree? No, what are you saying? I think there was an insurrection, yes. Jesus.
But yet you still.
It's more
But
like
yet you
it's more
still
like a
voted for the
protest
guy
that
who
got out of
caused that.
control. Not so much as like I'm trying to
Mhm.
overthrow the government, because like what would their plan be? I'm gonna like what do you mean?
Wait, I don't
They're
I
trying
don't want to
overthrow
I
the
just
government.
sorry, I want to do you think that it's fair? Do you think that like it's a fair statement to make? Not even fair. It's a correct statement to make that a agency in the government that is violating the Constitution, right? This is doing unconstitutional actions, is a
Mhm.
agency, a department that sucks. It's bad.
We look at what they're doing differently. You know that. You're were you like a defund the police person?
What?
I'm just asking. Like, I think it's kind of parallel, ICE and other law enforcement. Were you like a defund the police type of person?
Defund the
Was I?
police? No.
Okay, a lot of people were. That was a big like liberal message for
What do you
quite a
think
bit.
people meant when they said defund the police?
Well, some people were saying abolish the police. Defund the police, though, it actually did happen in several cities, and then you saw violent crime skyrocket.
What
and
do
then
you
they started
think? What
funding
do
it
you think
again.
they were? What
It
do
was
you
a
think they were
complete mess.
advocating for?
I think accountability, but it was still a bad idea.
Okay, so what the people who were wanting to defund the police wanted to do were recognizing that a lot of the things that police end up responding to aren't something that you need like force or violence to do, right? And that it'd be better if we had people who were like therapists or some kind of psychiatrist responding to those things, because oftentimes police end up like escalating things instead of de-escalating situations.
Yeah, but defund the police was certainly a narrative. It wasn't like reallocation of funds. It was defund the police.
That's
And
what
there were
people
cities
meant.
that
That's
did
like
that.
that's
There
you
were
understand.
cities
That's
that
how
did
like
that, and violent crime went. It happened.
okay.
Like
Well,
you can't deny this.
I just like what cities are you talking about? This happened.
Portland would be one. LA would be another.
Portland defunded the police, and that
Chicago would be
happened.
another.
Here, let me just look up. Wait, Portland crime. Significant decrease in violent crime, including a steep drop of homicides, down from 51% the first half of 2025. So, what are we talking about? Let me see.
Okay, can you do a Google of what cities defunded police?
Wait, it's
And
your
then
claim.
just
No,
put
it's your
crime
claim. It's your claim. So I don't first. You're wrong about Portland, but this is
Well, I'm
off.
not sitting in front of a computer.
This
like
is
you.
off. You made the claim. I don't really care if you're
I
sitting in front of a
understand.
computer.
Yeah, I made the claim because that's what happened. You don't have to agree. Whatever. You don't have to agree. We can move on to something else.
You made a claim that in Portland that crime had gone up after they defunded the
Mhm.
police. I didn't even look at the funded
Okay,
part. I just looked
do
at
me
the
a
crime
favor.
part, and
Do me a
crime
favor.
had
If I was
gone,
sitting
and
in
crime
front of a
and crime had
computer,
gone,
this is what I would
crime had
do,
gone,
'cause I'm a normal person.
wait, give me a second. And crime had gone down. So you were just wrong in that statement.
What you should do, you're sitting in front of a computer, go on Google and look
It's
at
not my
cities
job.
that defunded police and the violent crime rate.
Is it
Go
my
ahead.
job? Is it? Wait, sorry.
I'm not sitting in front of a computer.
Is it my job to prove your claims?
Oh,
No. If look, I'm
Okay,
I'm
then
fine looking.
do
Wait,
you
to be
wanna
clear,
just
I'm
agree to
pretty
disagree?
nice when it comes.
Is that
I'm
what you wanna
pretty
do?
I'm pretty nice when
You
it
just
comes.
agree to disagree?
I'm pretty nice when it comes to looking things up. If you say, "Oh, I know this article," or "This source at some point I think said this," I will probably make an effort to go find that. But if you just say, "Oh, well, here's a very general claim, and I'm not pointing to any source in particular, but I know it's true,"
Not a
just
very
look it
general
up. I'm not
claim.
going to do it.
Very specific claim.
It's general.
No, it's specific.
You're not. No, it's not a
The
specific.
cities
A
that
specific
defunded
claim.
their police
A specific.
departments.
A specific claim would be like in this specific city, we saw this amount of crime. It decreased by this. That's not a specific claim. I don't know what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, whatever. Is there something else you would like to talk about as far
So
as
you,
ICE
but
goes?
you agree with me. You agree with me that you do think it's justified, right? To think say ICE sucks because they're doing these constitutional violations.
In some cases, yeah.
In some cases, why not in this case?
In which case?
The case right now,
What case?
the Fourth Amendment violations I talked about earlier.
Oh, wait, hold on. You just asked me, do I think there are some violations that ICE does. Of course, they're human beings. There's
No,
a
I
bunch
said
of
if
them. Of
no,
course,
I
there are
said if an
violations.
agency is
What do you want
violating
me to do? You think the entire organization is violating the Fourth Amendment?
I think a lot of them are, yeah. Greg Bovino, who was in charge of ICE operations in what was it, LA, Chicago, and Minnesota, right? The head honcho here literally said that they're doing these arrests with only reasonable suspicion. So I do think this is an agency-wide thing. Yeah.
All right. I mean, they're gonna keep doing it whether you like it or not. I guess.
Cool.
They're
Do you
arresting
think
a
that's an
lot of
excuse,
illegal-
guys? This person's gonna keep violating
deporting a lot
constitutional
of-
whether you say it or not. So I'm not gonna criticize it. Stop being a pussy. Just say it's a bad thing. Say
It's
ICE
not,
is a
it's
bad
not
institution.
pussy shit. You're kind of being a weirdo by saying like
I'm being
law
a weird
enforcement can't
guys.
enforce
It's
the law.
guys. It's a weirdo to say that
Like, it
law
doesn't make
enforcement
any
should
sense.
follow our
It's
constitution.
so funny. Real quick.
Wait,
It's so funny that. Okay, can I ask you?
I'm being a
like,
weirdo for
personally,
saying that.
a little bit. Who did you? Can I ask you who you voted for in 2024?
Who I voted for? I didn't vote
Why?
because I'm 18. Currently,
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
I would have voted for
alright.
Kamala Harris if you're wondering.
I was kind of wondering that. Shit, I lost my train of thought. You're 18 threw me off a little bit. I'm sorry. Are you
Okay.
still 18?
Yeah.
You're very well. I mean, dude, you're doing a good job, man. Are you like you
Yeah.
go to school? And
I had somebody in Discord. Give me a sec, y'all. I'm gonna switch over here, real quick. The person in Discord, I'm gonna be dragging you in just a second. It was close up. Okie dokie. Discord. What's up? What is happening, dude? Would you like to speak for the audience? Hello. Doctor, I'm not going to say that. What's up? I'm just going to call you doctor. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I got a lot of people on TikTok, so I'm going to bump you back into friendly disagreements. And if you want to do that, you can call me back. Okay. What's up, Highfather? All right, can we give a Highfather props, everybody? Because the notes the research that I'm using, I think I the only research I did was like the Gnome v. Vasquez. That's the only court case I read. Everything else is Highfather for the argument making the current notes I'm doing. So, can we just give a round of applause?
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Wait, can I post your public notes, the link in my YouTube chat?
Yeah, sure.
Guys, if you want to know the notes I'm using, they're in YouTube chat. There's a link that you can click if you're on computer. If not, sucks to suck. You're gonna have to somehow copy and paste that. Oh my god, I got hate watchers, bro. The same girls in my she's here, she's watching, and she's actively putting sources. Oh my gosh. Sebastian,
You're
what's
what's up,
up?
bro?
What's up,
How we
bro?
doing?
We're doing good.
Yeah, no, I came up as opposition. ICE does not suck. They're awesome.
Okie dokie. I think have you been listening to me? Yes or no?
No, not really. But can we start with the Renee Good thing? Do you think that was unjustified?
Yeah. I don't think that's like the main thing why I said though.
Can you articulate how it was unjustified?
Could I give the main argument for why I think ICE is bad, or am I gonna have to be railroaded down the renegade thing?
Well, I'm just curious what you think. So, you said do you think it was or you don't think it was, and then why? Justified or unjustified, and then why?
I think it was unjustified because I don't think Renegade was probably like an imminent threat to like either death or bodily harm at the time that it occurred. But the main argument I'm making is about Fourth and Fifth Amendment violations that ICE is doing. I think that's probably the main reason ICE is bad.
Okay, so somebody in a car driving at a police officer not abiding by lawful orders is not
So
posing
I
an
have
imminent
literally no
threat?
reason to engage to this. So I'm gonna make my argument, and if you want to respond, you can. So the reason I think, main
Well, I
reason
just
that
think that
I,
clearly it's
the,
in the news, and
huh?
so I would
The
be
reason
curious
that
to
I
say if
think,
you
the
had an
reason that I
actual
think,
argument.
well, I have stronger arguments to make why ICE is bad. So I'm gonna start with those.
So
Right?
you
It's
agree that's a weak
like,
argument,
huh?
Renee? Good.
And I think it's
You
probably
agree, you agree that's a weak
that's probably
argument?
the weakest argument. Yes.
Okay, good. At least you acknowledge. What about Alex Preddy? You think that that's a
That
stronger
was
argument?
That was an absolute execution on the street. Holy shit. There's no
Based
justifying
on
that
what?
one. Based on what? I asked Freddie wasn't an imminent threat to life or bodily harm at the time the officer unalived him. A reasonable officer at the time, if you're just going by this by the jury, would have saw the other officer in the gray jacket disarm the person. Even after hearing the gunshot, there's no way, after seeing that, a reasonable officer would then somehow assume that this person was trying to shoot them, seeing that they had been disarmed. So there's no
Dude,
no
that's
way that
so
they could have
funny.
thought they were an imminent threat to bodily harm or death. Yeah,
That's
that's
kind
why.
of wholesome, honestly. It's just like a little young guy. He doesn't really know his ass from a hole in the ground. He's like, listen, man, if I was in that situation, I would have observed
Great argument,
everything on a
dude.
frame
Do you
by
want to
frame
respond to what I
analysis.
said? Do you want to,
It's a-
Sebastian? Would you
No,
like
I
to
am
respond?
responding. No, I am responding to what you
No, you're not. You're insulting me.
Yeah. No,
You're
no,
literally,
no.
you're quite literally doing an ad hominem. Okay.
No, I'll get
Well,
to
it's
your
it's kind of funny. It's kind of
I'm
funny
making a
that
descriptive
it's
statement.
kind of funny. This person needs Sebastian, which is by the way, which is by the way a Latino name, by the way. Okay, Hispanic names coming up here. You know, and doing
Okay, what's
this.
your
It's kind of
point?
like you're a race trader, you know, bro. Huh?
No. Okay.
My point that's like the amount of substance that's coming out of your argument right now. You can either respond to the point.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, no, you can. I mean, so you interrupted an ad hominem, quote unquote, to do your own ad hominem. Okay, so what? Are you,
Yeah,
a
it's
hypocrite?
called. Yeah, what do you think it is? It's called fucking irony, dude.
Okay, well, no, that's not irony. It's not really ironic whatsoever. But no, the point is,
I was
that-
mocking you, dumbass.
the point is, I'm mocking what?
The fact that you did an ad hom.
Refutation to
So
the-
what's
Are you-
ironic? So what's ironic about that?
That you did it before.
And how is that ironic?
That you're doing it.
Getting asked mad
Yeah,
about
because you're
it.
getting asked mad about it.
We
Yeah.
just did the exact same thing.
Like what
You guys have
we
no
did?
idea
I
what
did,
irony
guys.
is.
Can you please explain the joke?
No,
that you
okay,
just
no,
made?
like, well, let's get to
Holy
the substance
shit.
here. Well, the point I bring it up, I wasn't doing an ad hominem. What I was doing is making a descriptive claim about your actual level of intelligence with regards to the issue, because I noticed
That's irrelevant.
well, no, it is relevant.
Well, look here.
because you're
Let me
u-
make it. Wait. Let me make
Because
this
you're
super quick.
utilizing
So,
your own
Sebastian.
perspective.
Sebastian, when
Okay,
it
so
comes to
you're
the
gonna
level of
interrupt me, you're
knowledge,
gonna
so when it
interrupt.
comes to
I'm
the level of
responding to your initial claim, and now you're
Sebastian's
interrupting my response to your claim. Don't
Sebastian's
get mad.
a
Don't
random
get mad that somebody
TikToker
makes a
whose name is
descriptive claim about
Sebastian.
you
He has
and then
three
provides you with an
K.
argument.
He has
Listen
a
to the
great
argument
black
and
and gray
respond to the
picture of
argument.
American flag in it. Like it's literally irrelevant to the argument.
Okay, so the point is you're using your definition of reasonableness, and the point I was making is your definition is skewed by your lack of intelligence, your immaturity on the subject. Because I noticed when you were saying it would be reasonable if he noticed the other officer disarming him, it got me curious as to how many situations you've been in where
That's
there's been a
not
where
I
there's
don't know what
been
you're talking about. That's not the standard that he established. He's referring to a legal standard, the reasonable officer standard. He never referenced himself. What are you talking about?
yeah. Well, no, that's
Can you
not. Well,
track anything that he's saying here?
yeah. Well, he's using his own
No,
definition.
he's
of
not.
No, I'm
Do you
not.
understand- Do you understand that there's a legal standard for reasonable officers that's been adjudicated in courts? Do you
Right.
understand that?
And this is what I'm saying. There is a delta. There's a difference between his definition and the legal standard. So if you guys would hush your mouth
He didn't
Okay,
and
what's
listen
the
for a
difference?
What's his
moment,
own definition? He said
you'd be
reasonable
able to
officer.
actually
He
listen
just
to an
skips over
argument.
those
But you're
things.
getting so emotional.
Okay.
No one's getting emotional.
No,
I'm just
no,
getting
dude.
trapped.
Sebastian,
Yeah,
go ahead.
that's why you're trying to mute and shout people down.
Nobody's
and interrupt.
muted.
Who's muted you?
Nobody's muted
What are
you.
you talking
Well,
about?
you're trying to
dude?
interrupt and shout people because this
Yeah.
is what you do. This
Here,
is
no,
classic
let's.
liberal
We're gonna give.
thought.
I'm gonna give
You think
Sebastian.
you have an
I'm gonna give
argument, but
Sebastian
you're too
1 minute
afraid to
of
hear the
uninterrupted time.
counter-argument. So I don't
Go
understand.
ahead.
So you don't really want a
Shabibi,
real debate, isn't
Go
that
ahead,
right?
Shabibi. Go ahead, Shabibi. You got 1
So yeah,
minute.
the point here is simple, with no interruptions, is that you are clearly using a different definition of reasonableness, because the reasonableness that's outlined by the legal standard does not use hindsight to dictate if an officer's actions were reasonable. It's given the totality of circumstances in that moment if it's a reasonable fear of imminent deadly harm. Now, one mistake you made is you said that he did not pose an imminent deadly harm. That's not necessarily what the standard is. The standard is a fear of imminent great bodily harm. And so to the extent that that's true, and given the totality of circumstances, we don't look in hindsight and say, well, he was disarmed and the officer took the firearm away. The officer that shot him should have had 20/20 hindsight and laser focus on the firearm being removed and then not shot him.
Oh my God.
Oh, you can't help but
it's
interrupt.
just,
You can't help but
it's
interrupt
trying
again.
to-
Wow, you still can't
Yeah, it's
help
'cause you just-
yourself.
yeah,
You
you're
still
just-
can't
You
help
just
yourself.
no. You got your
still
minute.
can't help
I was
yourself.
tracking the time.
You still
No,
can't
you just
help
weren't
yourselves.
tracking. You just weren't tracking the
You
argument.
still can't help yourselves.
You just weren't
still
tracking
can't
the
help
argument.
yourselves. Try to
weren't
have
tra-
some emotional
you just
regulation.
weren't,
just made
Control
up
you just weren't,
yourself.
tra- you just weren't tracking the argument.
Control yourselves. Control yourself.
You just weren't tracking the
I'll
argument.
land the plane quickly and just say.
No, I'm gonna.
so to the-
No, you're
Oh,
interrupted.
I don't want
Because
to.
one, your 1 minute, your 1 minute is up. Wait, number one,
not really have a real
your
discussion
1 minute
because
is
my
up. I
arguments are
said I
weak.
give you one in minute, and two, you're not tracking the argument. The argument I gave wasn't, oh, hindsight, we can say that this person was wrong. I said at the time that a reasonable officer would have saw that person get disarmed, and therefore a reasonable officer would have made the assessment that wouldn't have been in fear, right, of threat to like bodily harm or death. And by the way, I said bodily harm at the start. I don't know why you had to correct me on that, because I literally said that.
I don't know where he got the like hindsight thing. You just
Yeah.
made shit up. That's the issue.
I never said in hindsight this person was disarmed.
It's
I said
funny,
at the
you
time
guys
the
are so
officer, a
dumb. You
reasonable officer
interrupt
would
an
have
argument
known.
and then straw
Yeah,
man.
'cause
It's
you
like
made
you
shit
would
up.
hear
Yeah,
the
that's
argument
the
if you didn't
issue.
interrupt
Nobody-
it and have some emotional
you literally
regulation,
straw
and then you would
man.
actually
Oh my
know
God.
what's being said.
Me
But
when I
you interrupt what's being said, and then you're like, I'm so
Me
confused
when I straw
right now.
man
I'm
it-
so
me
confused
when I
about what's
straw
being
man
said.
an
It's
argument
because
and
you
re-straw man
interrupted
it.
it, you dumbass.
No, you just made up shit. That's the
You
issue.
literally said I was
No,
making
I
a
didn't make
hindsight
up
argument.
anything.
I
What I-
quite literally
You did.
didn't. You straw
No,
When
man.
did
what I-
Scratch ever say hindsight? Can you point to that quote? When did he ever say that?
Did I say he said hindsight?
You did. You literally referenced that when you're talking about the standard he established. When did he ever say that?
What I said
When did he?
is-
Wait, stop. When did he ever say that? Just give me the sentence. He said that.
What I said is
You don't
that
know.
he
Yeah, of course. You made it up. You just made shit up. Yeah.
What I said is that he is alluding to a different standard of reasonableness versus what we have seen in the law before. The standard of reasonableness is given the totality of circumstances. What he is outlining is a circumstance in which the shooting couldn't or could have not occurred. However, given the totality of circumstances, another officer calling the firearm out, him making furtive gestures, it was a reasonable shoot to disarm and remove the threat. Now you are looking, it's objectively true that you are looking in hindsight 2020 and saying, well, he was disarmed.
again, this is just
However,
the
my
part where
question,
you just
shut
messed
up, shut
up.
up, shut up,
Yeah,
shut up, shut
this
up.
is
My
the part
question,
where you just
shut up,
messed
shut
it
up,
up,
shut up,
yeah?
shut up, shut up, shut up,
Continue.
shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
Are you gonna, like,
Shut up,
reflect
shut
the
up, shut up,
argument,
shut up,
or
shut up,
are
shut
you
up,
just
shut
gonna,
up, and
like,
listen,
make shit up?
listen. My question to you is simple. My
Uh-huh.
question to you is simple. If the officer did not observe the firearm being disarmed, would it have been a reasonable shoot?
Well, there's more ways that you can.
Shut up.
justify
Yes or
a
no,
shot.
dumbass? If the officer did not observe the firearm being disarmed, would it have been a reasonable shoot?
No, not
Yes or no?
necessarily. Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Perfect. So another officer calls out firearm. The man makes furtive gestures towards his waistline, and even at that moment, if he didn't know he was disarmed, that still wouldn't have been a justified shoot, according to you. We got some real geniuses on the panel here.
So
We
you
got some
acknowledge-
real geniuses on the panel today.
So you acknowledge. So the officer's looking at Preddy's hand, correct? When he was like, in order to know that he had a gesture.
He's looking at his body.
Okay, then how would he know that he was moving towards his waist? Did he see his hand?
Well, your arms can move without
Did he,
necessarily
wait,
looking directly
I'm
at your
sorry.
hand.
Did he see his hand or not?
I'm not the officer. How would I know?
Okay, so I don't. Why do you even go on that schizo rant about? Oh, he saw his hand. If he didn't see it, then why are you even bringing this?
Shut up. You're so dumb. You don't even know
now
you
you're
just got
making the
owned,
hindsight
bro.
argument.
Listen,
You're
it's
just
this
contradicting
simple.
yourself
You
there.
just said
So
to
now
me,
you're
you
claiming
just
you
said
don't
to
even know
me,
the
if
officer
he
even
wasn't, if he
was
had no
looking at
knowledge
his
that he was
hand. So I don't know
disarmed,
why
it would
we
still
use
be
that
a
as
bad
argument.
shoot. Do you understand how dumb that is? Given the totality of circumstances, if he had no idea that he was disarmed, that would not be a reasonable shoot. Do you know how dumb that
The
is?
problem, Sebastian, is you just contradicted your own argument. You try to claim that him moving his hand towards his waist would justify an officer, but now you don't even know if the officer saw that or not. So I
No,
don't
that's
know
not a
why you even bring
contradiction.
that
You don't
up.
even know
It
what a
is
contradiction
You
is.
just don't know
What
your
is my
argument.
argument? What is the argument I just gave to you?
You try to argue that if the officer didn't see the disarm, and if he also heard the verbal shout towards gun, and he also saw Preddy move his hand towards the waist, he may have had reason to, issue a shot or whatever. The issue is, when I asked you, did he see his hand? Was he looking at his hand? You said, I don't know. I don't even know. So if you don't even know what the officer saw, how are you making assertions on what he saw?
Because we don't have all the
circumstances?
evidence. What we have is a muffled video of a non-compliant
realize you're in the
subject who's
affirmative, correct? You're
consistently
making
resisting,
assertions.
who was
You understand
armed
that?
at the time. That is the totality of circumstances we have as the public. Given those circumstances, it is reasonable that he was not complying. He had a firearm. It was disarmed, and there was a scuffle. The firearm was called out. That much we know. Now, it's hard to discern whether he made furtive gestures, and more footage will come out. However, the telling situation in your argument is that you said even if all that was true and he did not know he was disarmed, that it still would not have been a justified shoot, which shows you are not operating within the legal. Shut up. You can't help yourself but interrupt when somebody's making a good point. You can't help but interrupt when somebody's making a good point.
That's
Shut
not
up.
the question you
Shut up.
asked.
The point.
You asked
the
that
point.
if the
The
person
point
heard
is
the
no.
shout
Shut
out,
up.
would have
No.
been
Shut up. The
justified.
point.
There's other
No.
ways
Shut your
someone
mouth.
can derive
The
if a
point. No.
gun's
Shut your mouth.
lost.
The point
So,
is
I'm just
you
correcting you,
outlined.
brother.
that even if all of those situations were true, it still would not be a justified shoot, which shows you are not using the framework that was established for reasonable fear
No,
of
that's not the
bodily
question
harm.
you asked, actually. You want me to repeat your question since you seemingly forgot it? You asked if the officer didn't know that the person's gun was taken away and he heard a shout of gun, would it be reasonable? I said no, not necessarily, because there's
No,
other
I never
ways
said
that
heard a
someone can
shout of gun. What I
indicate.
said was
If someone,
if he
there's
did
other
not.
ways someone can indicate if a gun has been disarmed or
That's
if a
not
weapon
what I
is taken
said.
off, such as
That's
a
not what I
call
said.
out,
You're
right?
no.
That
What
is
I said
what you I'm
specifically
sorry that you
verbatim.
forgot
No,
your own
no,
question, buddy.
no. That's
Okay,
not what I said.
unfortunately.
What I
That's
said
exactly what you
verbatim.
said.
What I said verbatim was if the officer did not know he was disarmed at that moment, would it have been a justified shoot? That was my question
Yeah,
verbatim.
then I
Nice
told
try,
you.
buddy.
I
Nice
told
try,
you.
buddy. Try
No,
again.
that's like you
Go back to
explicitly
go.
said.
Try
You
again. Start
explicitly
over.
said
You didn't
if
even
you
know what
didn't
the
hear the
question
shot,
was.
if you didn't see the
fucking
person
dumbass.
remove it,
You didn't even know
then
what the
would it be a
question was. You
justifiable
just tried to
shot? And I
put
said,
additional words in the question that weren't there originally. Now I've
disarmed,
outlined verbatim
right?
what I said, so you can use my actual quote.
No, you can't track your own questions. That's a you issue, right? That's just a problem on your end.
No, you're a schizo. You don't even know how to listen to a conversation. I
yeah.
clearly said if the officer did not know he was disarmed at the moment, would that be a justifiable shoot? That was my question.
No, that wasn't your question.
Oh
buddy.
no, now I'm just
I
gonna
hate that you
lie
have to
because I'm a
reframe it, but
liberal and I
yeah, it's
love lies
unfortunate.
anyway, so I'm just gonna
Yeah,
lie in the
definitely.
debate because I'm losing the debate on the arguments, so I might as well just lie and put.
Yeah. Scratch, we can't hear you. Also, I don't know what happened to
Oh
that dude.
shit! Yeah,
That dude
I
had
kicked
a-
him.
Yeah.
I thought go over to the Discord. I'll drag you in.
All right.
Okie dokie. Okay, y'all. Give me a sec to set this stuff up on Discord. Or sorry, OBS.
Is my mic coming in okay? Like
Your
everyone
mic
can hear me?
Is fine.
Oh, perfect.
You have to use TikTok friendly language, by the way, since we're on TikTok right now.
Oh, okay, perfect. I have a question. With the other caller that, with all the back and forth going on, I heard you use the word race traitor. Can you explain that?
Huh? I was just
You used the
mocking
word
him
race traitor. Yeah, but why did you use that term?
because it was just random. Brought it up.
You
I
just
I
call
was just
people
making-
race traitors?
I was just making
Is
random.
that like
I was
norm?
just making random descriptive claims because he was like, "Oh, we're just making a descriptive claim." So yeah, I just made a random descriptive claim.
I just find it a little hypocritical when I hear a lot of liberals calling Hispanic or Black conservatives race traitors. You don't see that as like reverse racism in some way?
No, not usually. I wasn't even making it in that sense though. I was just mocking him.
Yeah, but you asked if he was a race traitor.
No,
And
I said
I
he
was
was.
curious, what makes a
that-
race traitor?
I-
But
no,
what
the-
makes a race traitor?
what
Because I'm hearing
makes-
that word used a lot in
there's
liberal
there's
protests.
a certain subjective group that society is deemed as this race, and for some reason this is over time this like specific race the society is deemed has endured like certain hardships that have left them like more systemically desperate than other groups. And then somebody who society is assigned to be part of that culture group is doing things that be adverse to his interest and other people's interest in that arbitrary social group.
Do you
So
find
you
it interesting that protesters, particularly white liberals who call Black or Hispanic conservatives race traitors, do you think that's a form of them being racist?
No,
Why?
because they're not like being.
They
they're
can't
not
think
be-
for
they're not-
themselves unless
no.
they're for the Democratic Party.
No, they're not
I'm
being
curious
they're not
why
being
that's
prejudiced
not
on the basis of
racist.
race. They're just trying to make descriptive claims that like the things they're advocating for are adverse to their own like social race that people have like assigned them to. And
Hold on,
it's
Do you
Scratch,
being
can you
think
put me
that
back up? I gotta set
most
up OBS.
social policies,
Huh?
uh, do you think that most liberal social policies help or harm Black communities?
I don't know. I'm not here to talk about Black communities right now. I don't know.
No, but it's part of the whole why do you hate Trump? And this is a really big thing that really ticks off MAGA people is when liberals, particularly white women, who will yell at Black or Hispanic conservatives, calling them race traitors, as you did to that other gentleman. And I'm just curious, what liberal policy, social policy has helped the Black community?
This just isn't what I'm talking about right now. Like the only reason I said that was because he was just making like random script claims about me being like young and trying to use it as an argument. I really didn't give a fuck. It was
But since
it was
we're
it
but
was it
since we're
wasn't
talking
super
about
relevant part of the
Trump,
argument.
since we're talking about Trump and we're talking about conservatives and liberals, what social liberal policy has helped Black or Hispanic minorities?
But we're talking about what does Trump have to do like with liberals and Black and Hispanics? So what do you like?
There's a
What
lot
do you
of
think my
social
main What do you
issues.
think my main criticism of Trump isn't on like social issues right now? It's on legal ones.
You don't think Roe versus Wade was a legal issue?
Yes.
Actually, that's also a social issue.
Yeah, it's also a social issue.
Or rights of the unborn? But my whole point is
Abortion
you're
isn't
deeming
also
somebody
abortion also isn't my biggest criticism of Trump.
I'm just curious. It seems like the left in particular is perpetuating more racism, especially it's kind of insulting if you tell a Black guy he's not really Black unless he votes for a certain political party, wouldn't you say?
No, that was funny as fuck.
Why?
Why? Because he's basically
Why
saying
is that
that like,
funny?
why is that funny? Well,
I'm
number one, he's
yeah, why is
obviously
it
what he's
funny to you?
obvious. The obvious message behind that is like, if you're not somebody who's like voting for Democrats, and Democrats are generally like going to be more pro-Black against like getting rid of things that could like harm or doing things that could harm the Black community, that you're going against their own interests. So you're not like culturally Black, or you're not helping the Black community, and therefore you aren't Black. It was obviously like to me in a joking manner. So I thought it was funny. I thought it was kind of like a relevant criticism of how Republicans have like Black conservatives who vote for Republicans. So
Well, if MAGA people started telling Black liberals, if you're not conservative, you're on the plantation, you just a slave, that you could see how that would be perceived as racist, right?
in what sense
But
are they
you
saying?
telling
In what sense
somebody
are they
who's
saying it?
Hispanic or Black that's conservative, you're a race traitor. That's okay. You don't see any underlying
No,
racism
not
in
necessarily.
that.
It depends if the reason they're saying is because they think that like their policies are more conducive to helping the Black community, and that it's a plantation mindset that just go along with the Democrat said, then I wouldn't say
You
that's
would
like
agree that
racist.
big legal policies impact social policies, right?
Legal policies can be social policies, yeah.
Right, like Roe v. Wade.
It's less of a policy, more of a law, but yeah.
Why is it less of a policy?
I don't really see
Because he gave it back to the states?
the Supreme Court isn't supposed to be making policies. It's supposed to be just like reinterpreting the Constitution. So I don't know if it's a policy in that sense.
Doesn't not the Constitution say all people?
Okay.
So what constitutes a person? Right? It's a big legal argument, but it's also a big social issue.
You're just jumping around. I never made an argument about that. That's irrelevant to what I just said.
No, but I'm curious on your thoughts on it because your whole
We
life is
can be
about
curious on my
I
thoughts
hate
on like
Trump.
a million things. Like unless you have an argument against like Myers against Trump, I really don't care.
No, I'm making you think outside the box, outside of your because
I
everyone's talking
have an
about
argument.
immigration.
I have an argument for abortion.
no
We're
one's
not talking
talking
about
about-
abortion right now for what a person is.
All
I'm
right,
not
what's
getting
your
real
argument for
into it.
that?
I'm not making it right now
Why?
because the live is about Trump, not abortion.
This Trump and Roe v. Wade, that was very, very much he made that happen. So how is that not connected to Trump?
Because
The
any
pro-life and pro-choice movement.
the reason the pro-life thing doesn't matter anymore is because Trump's done things like expanding Medicaid for IVF, which anybody who's principally anti-abortion is against. So it doesn't matter. That's why a lot of anti-abortionists are also against Trump right now.
Whoa. You just said a lot of anti-abortionists are against IVF. You might want to back up on that statement because a lot of people that are pro-life are against IVF. That is not how
Yes,
that is.
that's what I meant. They're against it. And Trump expanded IVF and made it
Right.
easier for access. So a lot of people who are anti-abortion are against Trump. So it doesn't really matter as a single issue you talk about for me right now at all.
But you're talking about the rights of illegals, but not about the rights of the unborn. That's interesting.
Because it doesn't matter. If you care about
Why?
if because both one party is ostensibly right, okay with like a woman's like right to choose and like abortion, right, and the other party says they're against that, but at the same time is doing policies that anti-abortionists think murder babies anyways. So if you're somebody
Do
like
you
that, you
believe
think
that
you should
only
if
mothers
you're
can
holding
decide?
if you're holding a consistent view as an anti-abortionist, that issue shouldn't matter to who you vote for, right? Because both parties are bad on it.
In certain contexts, but I'm asking you because Trump is very much for the pro-life movement, or at least
No.
he's claiming
No,
to be.
no.
If you think
He
wait,
changed Roe v. Wade, though.
he
He
didn't.
He also
made it.
he
He
also
gave it
changed
back
he
to
also
each and
changed
every
his
other
views on
state.
it, right? That's why Donald Trump went from a 16 saying there needs to be some kind of punishment for women having abortion to saying that it needs to be left up to the states, and then like implementing policies that expand IVF for people, which is literally under anti-abortionist views, like doing murder. So
Right.
it
He
shouldn't
tried to
matter.
meet in the
So
middle
it
to appease
literally
the pro-choice groups.
if you're pro-life, there's no meeting in the middle. He's just advocating for killing people.
I
Trump
would
also
He
completely
implemented a
disagree with that.
policy. Really, is IVF? You understand? Like on average, I think it's like 8 to 10 fertilized zygotes are killed, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's
IVF.
why a lot of
So
pro-life
he just
people are
implemented
against
a
IVF.
policy which made it easier for people to kill what you would consider babies or people.
The legal basis that he did that was on principle, in the sense that you can't get funded for killing a person and not funded for creating a person. If
I'm not
that
talking
makes
about the
any
legal.
sense.
If you're anti-abortion, you're talking morally. Okay, you're not. Anti-abortionists aren't making a legal argument. I don't know why you brought that up.
I'm just curious on why you're so focused on the rights of illegals, but
I
not
just
on
told you
the
because if
rights
you're
of
if
unborn
you're
black
holding it,
babies.
if you're
Because most abortions are committed by black women.
oh my gosh,
So
if
I'm
you
just
ca-
curious by that.
dude, if you care about race, just say it.
I'm making stats.
You
Those
every
are just
time
stats.
stop doing that. Stop doing that right now. I know. Oh, I'm
It's
just bringing up the
It's
stats.
Planned
No.
Parenthood. It's
I
funded.
just a random stat thrown out there for no reason. Is it kind of
I'd like to say
interesting?
this stat, if I could finish.
Isn't it kind of
You
interesting
keep
that like
interrupting me. That's
Jews
not
are
very mature.
disrepresented in the top 500 Fortune companies? I'm just bringing up a stat. I'm not making any implications out of that. It's obvious what you're trying to do. You're trying to say because I'm black, I should care about my race, and because I should think that
Well,
these
you're the
are
one calling
killing
people
and
race
not.
traitors. You're the one calling people race traitors, but you don't care about the unborn black. That's interesting.
I don't care about
that's
race.
why
The
why I
other
asked.
reason why I care about race in that sense is because, as unfortunately, people have arbitrarily assigned like black people as like certain social group, and then we have prejudice against black people, either institutionally or systemically unknowingly, and we need to acknowledge that and try and reduce that. And when people who are black, who are being hurt by that exact same system, go outside of that, that is also hurting themselves. I would rather that wasn't happen, and we didn't even acknowledge the fact that like black people exist, right? Like when I say black people
But
exist, I
you
mean like
brought it up
as a
when you
cultural
called
race,
someone a race stranger.
as a cultural race.
That's
In the
my-
other
that's my whole point.
in the other sense, I don't care about race as in like genetically or that certain people are like that is race. I would rather race not exist. I'd rather we didn't have phenotypical differences between each other. Those are
You
just two
can't
different things.
say that when you said you have a Hispanic name. Are you a race traitor?
I was literally
Your
mocking
whole argument
him.
is out of the point at that point.
Holy
you
shit!
Called
I was
someone a race
literally
traitor.
I was mocking him as a joke because he
Yeah,
was just.
and you use the word race traitor. You can't say I'm not for racism now.
Do you think
can't
I was
say
bringing that up in a serious way? I literally said it was an ironic joke.
If
Wait, okay.
conservatives
Did I
called
not
you
say?
the race
Did I not?
traitor for
Did
not
I not?
caring about black babies?
Did I not say literally 5 seconds afterwards that it was an ironic joke?
No, no.
I
it took
did.
me
Hi,
asking
father.
you
Hi, father. Person
and
on the panel.
asking you to
Hi, father. Person who was
clarify
on the
on
panel, also debating the other person. Did I not literally say that was an ironic joke?
Princess, so what the whole argument was about was the guy was presenting an argument as just like poisoning the well. He was just saying, "Oh well, you're stupid. You don't have perspective." So Scratch mocking him to sort of show the error in his argument. Said,
He
"Oh well,
asked
you're
if
just
he
a
had a
stomach."
Hispanic name and then
Yeah,
said, "Are
that's-
you
Can
a
you not
race
engage
traitor?"
past?
His
Like, can you
point
please
was that
In the
poisoning
term of the
well-
argument with
Yeah,
immigration.
His point was that poisoning the well doesn't work as an argument, and thus, and he showed him that by doing the exact same thing. It wasn't an actual insult towards him. He was showing how an argument like that is not actually a cohesive argument.
Right, and I'm making the argument that when you use terms like race traitors to describe black or Hispanic
Oh my
conservatives,
god.
You open
This
up
is
the door.
dude. Okay, this is the problem. This is like if like I don't know, Matt Walsh went up on stage and was like, liberals all the time like points a random black person and be like, you're a race traitor for coming to this event, and you're like, Matt Walsh just used the word race traitor. Matt Walsh, do you think that that's like a good thing to use? You're literally calling other people race traitors when he obviously made it in a sense mocking the left. Can you not understand context around when I say a word, or are you just gonna
That's
hyperfixate
exactly what
on the
you
fact I
did.
said it?
That's exactly what you did in the terms
Oh
of
my god, it was in
immigration.
an ironic way. Oh
Debating
my gosh.
immigration.
You're getting
And you
kicked.
asked
You're
them.
unironically getting kicked. Like, holy shit. Please respond to what I'm saying. My fucking god. Cancer.
Oh no, unironically you got kicked. Oh wow.
What's up?
Hello. Hey, how you doing?
Good. You were into Greers, or do you disagree?
Yeah, unironically. Hey,
Huh? What? Wait. Wait on what? Wait on what?
yeah. I just came to really just talk to you about what's going on here. In a friendly way.
Okay. Do you disagree with anything I said?
Man, that's a hard question. You could find anything to disagree with if you really wanted to, right?
I asked, do you disagree with anything that I said?
I think that I disagree with maybe the way that we listen to other people, right? So someone has a good point and they get cut off or say, "Oh, wow, you're really going off on a tangent here." But that's kind of the nature of debates, right? Where you have
That's
to
something
discredit
you should
your,
do.
your
That's something you should.
co-debater.
That's just something you should do.
Good point's also subjective. I mean,
Yeah. Like if
Oh,
like
sure,
when like
sure.
if you're saying like
Absolutely.
if like this people will do this all the time where it's like somebody will ask a question, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? And a person will like, oh, my favorite kind of pizza is pineapple on pizza with like pepperoni. And you'll be like, okay, and you interrupt them like halfway their answer, like that's not answering my question. Be like, how dare you interrupt me? I was making a good point. It's like, no, you weren't. You just weren't engaging,
Sure,
right?
sure.
You shouldn't.
Yeah,
You should
yeah.
interrupt somebody, or when you make a
Just
point and they
waxing
like straw
poetic.
man. But yeah,
It's like filibustering the conversation, right?
Mhm.
Where they're not quite adding anything valuable.
Yeah.
Where did you get your start in debate?
Oh, we got. I think I was like 14 on Discord. That's when I started debating.
You've been debating on Discord since you were 14.
Mm-hmm. Anything.
Did you go to high school?
I've graduated last year.
Did you do debate in high school?
No, I did not. We didn't have a debate team.
Oh, really? So your only debate experience is online.
Yep.
Wow, that's fascinating. Was that something you're passionate about? I mean, obviously, that's something that you do.
Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't be up here doing it. On TikTok,
So
on YouTube.
so you debate about things that you're passionate about, right? So political, because I don't have to be honest with you, I don't have a stake either way. You could bring up any argument to me. Doesn't matter to me.
Why?
I have a-
If I could prove to you that like Donald Trump was tried to coup the government, you wouldn't care?
It's not that I wouldn't care. I may or may not believe it. I may or may not say it.
I said, well, that's why I said if I could prove to you the answer. So if I could prove it to you, you
Okay,
would.
so how could you prove it to me?
I
Because
could
we're
bring up.
online.
I would bring up sources. I could do here. What? Watch this. Watch this. There's something called screen share.
Okay, absolutely. Let's do it. Let's see your screen share.
She won. Don't take handy for this caller. Wait, what? You people want to fight about
That's not
things
for
you
me.
don't matter with when the rest of the world is dictatorships. If you pan him in the pin him a corner, he'll hang up on you. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm not gonna even.
Wait, what's happening?
Chat just making me mad. Chat's being.
Oh yeah, well, this is the nature of chat, right? They're there to troll you, I think.
No, I think that people are just really dumb. Okay, you can see it. I know everybody else can't. I just realized that half blocking my face right now on OBS.
Okay, I do see. I do see.
So you familiar with like the fake elector allegations?
Nope. Could you give me a brief history?
So basically, after the 2020 election, at least the voting part in November, the allegation is that Donald Trump hired a team of private outside lawyers. So this would include Kenneth Chesebro, Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani, and a couple other people. Right. Oh,
Okay.
Don Eastman, and a couple other people, to draft up fake electors, right, for the upcoming electoral college vote on January 6th, right, to submit these fake electors, and then have Mike Pence use his power presiding over the joint session, like counting electoral votes on January 6th, to unilaterally throw out the real electoral votes for the fake ones.
Okay.
Right.
So, how is this? What is this based on?
So this is based on a couple things. One, we have testimony from people like Ronna McDaniel, who was the chair of the RNC at the time, who testified that she got a call from Donald Trump and John Eastman, basically asking her to help set up the fake electors. We have the actual fake electors themselves, like the actual documents, which I can show you the testimony and I can show you the documents. So these are the fake electors themselves. You're seeing on screen. You're seeing on screen,
Okay.
and we have something called the Eastman memo, where Eastman literally explains the plan of how there's actually multiple avenues, but basically the plan for Mike Pence to unilaterally throw out the real electoral votes for fake ones. And then if you want that, I can show you the Eastman memo.
But that obviously didn't work because Biden won this election.
Huh?
You said 2020? Or did you say
2020.
2024?
2020 election.
Okay. So and also I will say that in my opinion, and I agree with some people who say that politics is completely fake, in the sense that whatever they quote unquote they want will happen, right? And at the same time, it's very real. It's all real people.
Okay.
Casting our votes.
Well, this is like super
what we
illegal.
believe.
It's in violation of state laws and federal law, the ECA, the Electoral Count Act.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that the Trump administration is just really good at doing things sloppily, but every administration has done this.
That's not true. This isn't sloppily. This is a purposeful coup. Eastman says in the Eastman memo that this is a break from procedure of the act. He literally says that it's illegal. Eastman also says things like if this went to Supreme Court that they would lose. This was a purposeful plan. They knew
What I mean by sloppily is that they did it in a way that was catchable, right? So other administrations.
Well, yeah, they
have
did.
done
They
something
tried to coup the
but
government
they
sloppily.
didn't
I
make it
agree,
wrong.
but the fact is they tried to coup the government. I don't really care if they did a coup
The government
sloppily.
gets cooed every administration.
Really? How did Biden try and coup the
It's
government?
absolutely. We don't know.
We
That's what I'm
okay,
saying,
so
is
okay,
that
so if we don't know
every
something, oh yeah,
government
okay,
administration is
wait,
corrupt.
stop. If we don't know something,
ahead.
then we can't make that claim, right? I don't have any relevant evidence that Biden tried to coup the government ever. Okay, so we're probably they're going to assume unless proven otherwise, the guy has coup the government.
And maybe he was too senile to pull it off. I don't know, but
You can't say okay, dude. Really?
no, that was just a joke. That was literally a joke.
Please, okay.
It's a meme. It's a meme. I'm sorry.
But we do have evidence that Trump has. So if evidence one
Yes.
party tried
So,
to do
yeah,
it,
he
we have
did it
evidence the
in a way
other. So I'm going to
that
vote for
people
the
can see.
Democrats because I care about our democracy and our liberal institutions being upheld.
Yeah, but is it so black or white politics? Does it have to be Republican or Democrat?
No, Democrats could have done the same thing, but they didn't. So that's why we're voting for Democrats.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, do we only have to have two parties, or could we have a party that? Oh, are you there?
I would prefer to have a third party, but we don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Like, why is it like so black or white? in
Okay.
politics? That's my that's my problem.
Okay.
I
I'm
have
gonna end
to
a live
hitch my
here.
card to Trump, or I have to hitch my card to Democrat. So that's all I'm saying is I don't like.